excitement we had for a new job is now gone. We have come up the ladder, so your promotion slows down.
After spending 10 years, if you have not sorted out your finances, that you need to switch a job for keeping up with your expenses, then you have done very bad in your financial management. You can do an MBA, but if you are dumb, that degree doesn't matter. Hello, Ambition Room. Please come in. Hey, meet the main member of our family, Bhagwan Vittal.
First of all, you have a very beautiful house.
Thank you.
What inspires you? I mean, this is what I can see. The vibe of the house is very calm, minimalistic.
Yes.
So, what is your thought process behind the house?
Yeah, most of it, if you see, is green and brown.
Yeah.
So this is more natural. We like natural things, and my wife is also very nature loving. It's still a very open space, so that our mind has space to think.
Would you want to show us around your house?
Yeah. So if you see at the entrance, we saw a small library of mine.
Yes.
So I like reading. I have been reading since my childhood. My father used to read a lot, so I got it from him, and my children's got from me. Here is my small office,
Okay.
which I use for my trading, for my learning, as well as some office work.
And I can see a lot of certificates as well here.
So this is my small garden. These are very old plants which I've got. This is around 6 years. That is around 8 years.
Yeah, you also saying that this was your first plant that you got. in the house.
Yes, that was the first plant. Even lemon is around 6 years old.
But you have maintained it very well, I must say. I mean, these are all maintained and kept so green and so happy and so fresh, which is amazing to see.
So I keep them as a family member,
Okay.
like how you keep pets.
Yeah. So, Mr. Sachin, we have seen your beautiful house. I think you have given us a nice tour. Thank you for that. Now
Sure.
it's time for us to deep dive into our discussion
Yeah.
further. At the age where we see that all the excitement we had for a new job is now gone. We have come up the ladder, so your promotion slows down.
Right.
You have the same repetitive work that you're doing day in, day out. At that point in time, a person actually thinks upon, what am I doing? Am I doing good? Probably I will start comparing myself with my peers. So, what do you think? How can a person decide at that point in time what is best for them, or how to keep themselves motivated?
Right. So when we look into this kind of a situation, the most prominent issue which we can see is disconnection. So disconnection is actually with the goals. Okay, when we set up certain goals and cannot visualize the end of those goals,
Yeah.
that is the disconnection with which we are pointing to. Okay, most of the people, why that disconnection happens is because they have not set their goals in a smart way.
Right.
So the more details you put, SMART is measurable, accountable, and
Yeah.
all those, the
Yes.
drill there. So the more details you put, the more you can visualize those goals. We have 6 assets in life which we generally build. One is career, second is health,
Okay.
wealth, relationship, spirituality, and skills. So these 5 are fundamental
Yeah.
assets, and this is skills is the supporting asset.
Right.
Okay.
To support those five
those
fundamental
five
assets.
fundamental assets.
Interesting.
So what happens is, when you are looking into your goals, you only are looking career wise. So the other assets are starved.
Right.
And that's where the disconnection happens. And because of that, you feel that repetitive work is boring. Actually, that boring work is making you master in that.
So the first thing that we're talking about is career goals.
Correct.
Let's see that I would want to become a head of my department, or I want to start my own firm. How do you define that career goal now? Like, is this definition enough for me to have that as a goal?
The definition in itself needs lot of detailing.
Right.
See, when you are saying I want to start a business, suppose, which business, who is the customer, so all those details will come. A lot of people, they set the end goal. There has to be a skill goal and there has to be a process goal before that. And then you go to this end goal. So if you don't have skill, if you don't know what is the process, your end goal is never going to happen.
Yeah.
You actually
The right
say,
actions at the right time with the right
Yeah.
process is required for us to achieve that goal.
achieve that goal, even to visualize that goal.
And the next thing we have talked upon is wealth, right?
Yeah.
So that's a question for me, right? Because I don't see any amount of wealth is enough at any point in time for anybody. How do we feel, or how do we plan that what is enough for me? And how do we create a goal for it?
As I said, you need skill. Today, if I give you 10 crores, do you have the skill to handle 10 crore? You might have seen Kaun Banega Crorepati. Okay?
Yeah.
You have seen Shark Tank India. Okay? You get 7 crore in Kaun Banega Crorepati also, you get 7 crore in Shark Tank also. That the KBC guy do not have the skill to handle 7 crores. The Shark Tank guy has the skill to handle that 7 crores.
Right.
Okay. So that's the difference. You need the skill.
The next goal you said was health.
Correct.
Right?
So there is one thing which I have done for last 2 to 3 years from like, I have picked one health habit, that is walking. And I do it daily. And I'm going to do it for entire my life. One thing, it gives me movement. The other thing is, it's the time when I'm alone.
It is very interesting. Not many people are religious nowadays, right? So, and I am sure that when we're talking about spirituality, it is not the religious aspect we are talking about. It is just that understand what is spirituality. So with that, I would want to understand, like, what is spirituality for you?
I have found the spirit of God in him. That's the good part of his. So
Okay.
that's the spirituality for me.
That's interesting. So your spirituality talks about the goodness in people.
Goodness in people.
That's nice.
And that goodness in people is the part of God
Right.
which is present in him or
Right.
her.
Interesting. Interesting. Then we come to our fifth goal, and which is relationship, right? So, what are your thoughts? How do someone handle their relationships well?
So relationship is always about energy. As I said, spirituality is finding good. Relationship is finding the energy. So the good energy which you get from others and the good energy which you give to others, this is how the relationship should be there,
Right.
right? So the thing is, you leave out everything outside your relationships, all the bad energy. You just transfer good energy,
Right.
and you'll get back those good energies.
Yeah. Now that we have talked upon the 5 assets, I think the 6th one is the skill, right?
So to build goals or to build these the top 5 assets, which are the fundamental assets, you need skill as the base, as you said. Now that skill is actually the accounting of how well you are doing in all those assets. If you are low on some skills, you have to put time, money and effort on that vertical.
How do you actually understand with every switch, either you are upgrading or you are just escaping from a situation that you were in? And by deciding that, like, how can a person switch mindfully?
Okay. So usually when you are looking into job change, there are 2 aspects. There is anticipation and then there is intimidation. Okay. So when you are doing anticipation, okay, that is the forward looking one. And when you are doing intimidation, that is the backward looking one. Intimidation is a fear. How you evaluate whether you are escaping or you're upgrading is evaluate these 6 assets which you have here and which you can get there. Okay. So the main idea is you should have at least 4 out of 6 assets in your favor, in either here or there.
Right.
Then you make a decision.
Okay.
Okay.
So the first thing I would want to think upon, like for example on salary, I might want to think upon, like you said, understand if whatever you are earning right now is good enough.
See, first thing on the money. You have spent 10, 12 years earning, and now you want to switch to get more money. Right? The issue here is, after spending 10 years, if you have not sorted out your finances, that you need to switch a job for keeping up with your expenses, then you have done very bad in your financial management.
Okay.
Okay. See, in 10 years, your salary almost doubles or triples, right?
Yeah.
10 years, triple the salary, that is 300 divided by 10, right? That is 30% per year. Or maybe 20% per year. If you see the average, it might look 10%, 10%, 10%,
Yeah.
10, but it is compounding.
Right.
So it is 20% per year.
Yeah.
Okay, you have already beaten the inflation.
Right.
Okay. But still, you are thinking that you have not beaten the inflation. Okay, because there are a lot of people who give you all this rubbish. But I believe if you do your finances very simple way, the more you complicate things, that's what our finance minister also did. Your taxes are become
Flat.
Yeah, simple. You need to sort your finances first, right? In 10 years, if you have not sorted, you are in a very bad shape now.
So we are saying that post 10 years, if at all you are switching to get a better hike or better salary just because that is not enough for your expenses, that is wrong.
Correct.
Right? That should never be the case, because in 10 years you could have been in a situation where you're financially strong. That's a very good thing for us to learn. And the second example I would want to switch is maybe for misalignment, right? At some point in time, I also switch because I'm not aligned with the company that I'm working with.
So there are two things. There is burnout and then there is misalignment. And both are related to focus.
Right.
Okay. In burnout, you are focusing on things which are not required. Okay, so that is a focus problem. Misalignment is again a focus problem. You are focusing on wrong thing, which your management doesn't want you to focus on.
Yeah.
So that is because of misalignment.
So I was working with this company. It was a startup, and we were all doing very good. At one point in time, they wanted to scale the company, and they changed the whole leadership in there. And slowly and gradually, all the original team members that were there in that company, they all started leaving, and they were rapidly growing and rapidly changing. And the new leadership's goal was basically just to bring out the IPO, right? While initially our goal was to kind of
Scale.
Help the customers, solve the real problems and things like that. So I think that was the original change, and we understood that the reason I personally joined that company was the same reason that the company was doing good for a particular customer segment.
Right.
But after a point, it was not really caring about what these people will have and not have, but just to care about how do we extract more profits and stuff like that. So that's something is a reason that came up for me to leave that company. However, I was very much attached to that one company. I never attached to my organizations really, because one of my professor, he told me that always attach with your work, not with the company. I've always kept that in mind. But this one company, I was very attached to. But I had to leave it because, again, the goal that I have for me and the goal that the company have for themselves now is not really aligned. So it is only good that you part ways at that point in time.
Exactly. I think very good example. You generally focus, your focus is aligned with the leadership when you're working on certain project and certain assignment. And if the leadership changes and the new leadership comes and their focus is different, the misalignment start visible. Earlier also there would have been misalignment, but it was more of,
I think those were difference of thoughts or difference
of thoughts or difference of opinion, but here is difference of philosophy.
Yes.
So when the philosophy changes, you have to put more energy in serving those relationships. So and you get drained.
Yeah. Right. So you're putting more energy but not getting that much of a results that you're trying to put. And at one point in time, you will also not be able to put that energy because you're not aligned with that thought.
Exactly.
Now that we have discussed the different thought processes upon the switches, right? What are your thoughts upon, very recently we have seen a lot of people are doing a lot of switches to get better hikes. But then, do you think we are over glamorizing those hikes that we are getting out of those switches?
I think at some level when you are young and those switches might make sense, but as you reach to a level where your energies have gone down, at that point of time you should understand that my energy should not go in aligning people, shifting my luggages, understanding the area map. Those are all noises. At some point of time, these shifts are noises for you. Okay. One, a person at age 22 shifting a job and person at age 35 shifting a job has got a very different signal to noise ratio.
Yeah.
For a person at 22, a good job is a signal and rest all is a noise. For age 35, whatever the noise was for him is the signal for the person who is at age 35, because he has to first think whether my kids would get admission in the new school, whether I get a rented house there, whether my wife or my spouse will get a job shift over there. So all these questions becomes signal for them,
Right.
rather than noise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actual job shift has become noise for them.
Right.
Okay.
And also, like, when a person is at 35, he or she is not anymore an individual contributor. While at 22, he or she was, so they were able to switch and adapt to the whole thing.
You have to be mindful of where you waste your energy.
There's one more thing that a lot of times we are in a company for probably 3 years, 4 years we have worked upon in a company, but still probably at one point in time I feel that I'm not getting the promotion that I wanted, right? What are your thoughts upon, should I wait to get noticed, or I speak upon, or I ask what I can do better to get that promotion that I deserve?
See, in most of the companies, it's the value which you bring to the table creates or dictates the promotion. Okay. Skill is one aspect of it, and demonstrating that skill is another aspect of it. You can do an MBA, but if you are dumb, that degree doesn't matter. And to get a promotion, you need to demonstrate skill, not to get the skill. And secondly, the visibility. Then you have a chance of good promotion. You not necessarily you have to demonstrate it at workplace. You not always get a opportunity to demonstrate. But you can always use whatever resources, whatever platforms, whatever environment you get to demonstrate that skill and bring those stories to your workplace. Right? So if you bring those stories to your workplace, then only, and even better, if someone tells your manager that this is the story your guy did, that is even better. So you have to excel that thing. In 12 Principles by Jim Rohn. Okay. He says you don't earn more by spending more time or spending more effort. You earn more by becoming more valuable. Okay. So increase your value by doing these small things. You don't have to get the returns, but you have to get the experiences. If you get those experiences, automatically your value increases.
That's very nice. And that's a very good closure. Thank you so much for all the time that you have given to us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.